Toasties. I'm Missy, here with my bestie Johnsy.
Hey, y'all.
And welcome to our Toasted Shenanigans. How you doing over there?
De-stressing.
Look, I could touch you.
I know. This is wonderful.
This is the best way to do it.
Yes, it is. Very much so.
I'm glad that we were able to do it in person.
Yeah, the virtual shit sucks.
It does.
It's convenient, but it sucks.
It does. It is convenient, though.
How you doing over there, though?
I'm tired. I'm so tired.
You're always tired.
You know, it's a disability. Leave me alone. I am. But I'm fine. I'm fine. It's all right. It's all right.
Did you get a nap in today at all?
I worked. So no. I came home from work. I took Angel to dance, and then I went to football, and then I went to the grocery store. I picked Angel up from dance. I got Taco Bell and went home.
Well, at least you got Taco Bell.
I know. It was all right. And except for the fact that I forgot Angel's taco. At least I got her potatoes. The girl loves her potatoes.
They do have good potatoes. Yeah. I love me some Taco Bell.
Taco Bell has their french fries right now, too.
I don't care for their french fries.
I don't mind them.
They're not like the old school french fries. Do you remember back in like when we were kids and they had french fries?
Yeah.
They were like the nice, like crinkle, really crispy cut.
Yeah.
They were delicious.
I know.
This shit now is like a flaky potato. I don't like it.
Everything's not like it used to be.
I know.
I mean, come on now.
I miss the 90s.
What you got in your spooky cup? I like that cup. It's so cute.
Thank you. It's just H2O.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I'm proud
Hydrating.
of you. I'm proud of you. Yeah, you had a rough day.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you're feeling better.
One day I'll stop getting sick. I seriously feel like ever since I took that damn mask off, I get sick constantly now. I don't know if it's because I'm around more people or I'm not constantly, because I do have a habit of constantly touching my face. I probably need to stop that.
Oh, everybody needs to stop touching their face.
As I touch your face
right now.
I can't help it.
It's
a thing.
Maybe you need to wash your hands more. I don't know, man.
I'm constantly using hands. My skin is peeling off.
Don't use hand sanitizer.
Well, I wash them when I get the chance to, but my skin is literally peeling off my hands.
Yeah, because you're just drying it out with hand sanitizer. That's all it's doing. Just rubbing the dirt around.
I don't know. I'm just gonna put myself in a bubble.
I told you, I'm just gonna hand you my sage. You go home, desage yourself, do all the things.
I've got some at home.
Well, then you need to fucking burn it.
Yeah, I do.
Cleanse your soul and your spirits and your auras, all of it.
You know, it's the last time since I've actually taken the time to even like practice again. I was realizing that the other day. I'm like, this sucks. I need to get back to it.
Now, that's probably part of your problem too. I'm not even gonna lie to you. You got all these moon shits, astrological stuff going on right now. You probably really need to get some shit together.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Getting old sucks.
It does. Oh, gosh. It so does. Anyways, I realized how old I was when I was looking at pictures of my kids. The ones I was sending you. I'm like, oh, my gosh. They're so big.
Doesn't take long.
No. It's unacceptable. Anyways. So last week, we talked about The Exorcist and it being a fake true story.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember. It's so pathetic. I can't even remember that if I mentioned when I was looking up looking that information up, there was two situations that the movie, book/movie is based off of. The one that we had spoken about last week in our last week episode, which was such a fun fucking episode.
It was.
It was so much fucking fun.
Speaking of which, wait, what you got in your fucking cup? You didn't say.
No, I didn't. I'm drinking mead.
Okay.
I'm having the Grin and Parrot because I like this one. It's like it's pear mead, I guess. It's cinnamony. It's very fall.
Ooh,
it's very fall.
That sounds good. I don't want to try it though.
I know. I wasn't going to offer today.
My tummy's still a little iffy.
I know. Total backtracking a second before I go into this, what we were talking about in a minute. Did you know that Ryan Gosling has an album?
Yes. From like when he was
It was
younger?
2009. It came out in 2009.
Yeah.
I listened to the whole... I don't know why I did not know this information, or maybe I did and I just forgot about it, and I'm just relearning it today or something. I don't know. I'm really disappointed in myself that I didn't already know this information, or that I put it on the back burner the way I did, because
I've never listened to it.
It's fucking amazing.
Is it really?
It's spooky.
What? Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
It's called Dead Man's Bones. It's supposed to be like spooky. Like it's not your it's
like a punk rock spooky? No.
No, it's very oldies spooky. It's cute. I like it.
I'll have to check that out.
I mean, I liked it.
I didn't expect that from Mr. Gosling, however you say his last name.
Gosling.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm not one of the women that find him attractive.
I am.
I know you are. He just looks like a sad dog to me. I'm like, oh, your poor soul.
When you said that, I imagined him from, oh gosh, I don't even remember what movie it was. It was him and Steve Carell, where he makes that look like. A lot of memes are made with that face that he does. I like Ryan Gosling.
I think he's a fantastic
actor,
but only for that one drama set. I couldn't imagine him in anything else.
I'm trying to think of some of the movies that he's in and just kind of like
what was that movie? Drive? Yeah. He was in Drive, right? Am I thinking of the right title? I don't know. I'm not all there today.
That's okay. Anyways, he has an album. You should go listen to it. I actually really enjoyed it. It was cute.
Definitely.
It was very like old school Halloween spooky. Wasn't expecting it. Didn't even know he made that until very recent. I'm very disappointed in myself that I'm just, like I said, learning this and actually taking the time to listen to it. But honestly, also I find listening to me. Oh shit! That was
not me.
I just enjoyed the fact that like listening, or oh shit! No, I got myself distracted. I just enjoyed it. I liked it. You should listen to it. It's good.
I'll check it out.
I was saying it's easier to listen to music now than it was in 2009.
Okay.
You could just hop on Spotify and literally find anything now, whereas in 2009 we did not have that.
No.
iTunes. You had to find it and pay for everything.
Or we still had LimeWire.
Yeah.
If we wanted to destroy our our computers.
Exactly. So it's so much easier to get music.
Yes, extremely.
Now and learn new artists all the time than it was in 2009. So I'll give myself some credit there. Anyways, back onto the original story here.
Okay.
I was like, I wanted to talk about that because I was like pleasantly surprised by it. So looking into the story of The Exorcist and the true story and all that other kind of stuff, there was the one that I talked about in the last episode.
Yes.
And there was another part that I did bring it up, I think, about...
Just briefly. But you said we'd go more into it.
Yes. So I wanted to talk a little bit about it.
All right.
So...
What you got for me?
So it was the Loudon possessions is what that was about. It took place in France, supposedly. Now, I was kind of like looking into this and reading into it and stuff like that. And I don't know like the actual truth behind it, but it was just interesting because it took place October 1st, 1632.
Jesus. So we're talking way back when.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was these, something popped up on my phone. It was these nuns that apparently were possessed by the priest I was kind of talking a little bit about. And it was, I don't know, it was just really interesting. So give me a second here. Let me find a good place here in my things that I found. So the first exorcisms were conducted on October 5th. Oh, that's my anniversary. 1632. I just thought it was really interesting. Hold on, I gotta find like I said, something just popped up on my phone and now I'm just like, wait, where was I?
How far back does the Vatican go? Do you know that?
I don't. You should look that up.
Let's see.
So this case contains similar themes to other witchcraft trials that occurred throughout Western Europe in the 17th century. So I feel like this was kind of like the precursor to the Salem witch trials.
Yeah.
Oh,
wait, you said 16 what? The Salem witch trials, weren't they still?
This was 1632, 34?
It might be a little early for the Salem witch trials.
Yeah, because it says here in that this stuff didn't really, it was 1690s that when it finally hit the New World. Oh,
wow. The Vatican wasn't officially formed until 1929, but 756 to 1870 was pretty much still the larger papal states, it says. I don't know. I'm not good with all that Roman Catholic history. I should look it up, though, because parts of it does interest me. So this was before the Vatican. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. So a covenant of Ursuline, Ursuline, nuns said they had been visited and possessed by demons. Now Ursuline was, I guess, the church or something like that.
Okay.
Because Urbain Grandier was the priest at the time. But following the investigation by the Catholic Church, a local priest named Urbain Grandier was accused of summoning the evil spirits. And he was eventually convicted of the crimes of sorcery, and he was burned at the stake.
Ooh.
Yeah. So this is a man. Now, France was very, like, King Louis. Oh, damn it. It was me again. King Louis was very superstitious of especially witchcraft.
I think I remember that.
Oh, this was King Louis. Oh, gosh. I know it's in here somewhere. I can't remember what. King Louis I think this is 13. X 111. The X is 10. So, yeah.
The 13th.
So, yep. This is King Louis the 13th. There was a lot of King Louis in France. Like, a lot.
Yeah.
So I was like, King Louis, I have to be a little bit more specific. I know that they were very superstitious of witchcraft. And I know they did do a lot of, like, not necessarily witch hunting, but any inkling of, like, type of witchcraft thing, they nicked it right away. So this case contains similar themes to other witchcraft trials that occurred throughout Western Europe in the 17th century. So, like I said, there was the ones in France. There was the Pendle witches in England, which was in 1612. Golly, why do I keep saying 19? And then by the time before this was reaching then the New World in the 1690s. So, this was under the power of King Louis the 13th, and he ordered the walls around Loudun, a town in Poitou, France. I'm bad with my French, guys. I'm so sorry. He ordered that wall to be demolished.
Okay.
And then the populace of the two minds concerning this kind of came together. The Huguenots, for the most part, wanted to keep the walls, while the Catholics supported the monarchy. So there's like two groups of people. But in May of 1632, an outbreak of the plague happened and claimed many, many lives. So together, the events of all the stuff that was going on with the possessions and whatnot, it created
that's a lot all at once.
It created an anxiety and dividing the town. So I think that's really where like this probably kicked off this possession thing that was happening. So Urbain Grandier, he was born in Roubaix towards the end of the 16th century. And in 1617, he was appointed parish priest of Saint Pierre du Marche in Loudun. Grandier was considered to be a good-looking man, wealthy and well-educated. An eloquent and popular preacher, he incurred the envy of some of the local monks, as he did not support Cardinal Richelieu, Richelieu policies. And he was in favor of retaining the town's walls.
Okay.
So he wanted the walls to stay. King Louis did not. So
he's going to have to go.
There's a problem already there. It was widely believed that Grandier had fathered a son by Philippa Trinquant, the daughter of his friend Louis Trinquant, the king's prosecutor in London. So again, he's playing with fire here, this man. And according to Monsieur de Nio, counselor at La Freche, Grandier had aroused the hostilities of a number of husbands and fathers, some quite influential, by the dishonor he had brought to their families through relations with the female members of their household. So this guy's just making enemies left and right. Left and right. Around 1620, Jacques de Troubault, possibly a relative of Philippa, was quite vocal in expressing his opinion of Grandier's conduct with women. And when Grandier demanded an explanation, Thibault beat him with a cane outside the church of Saint Croix.
And that's mild compared to anything back in the day.
Right?
It's not that bad.
Well, I mean, he's beating a priest outside of a church, so... beating a holy man.
There's a lot done to priests back in the day, though.
Yeah, it's true. And being a holy man, isn't he technically not supposed to be, like, doing nothing like that? They're part of the Catholics. That's what I'm saying. I don't know when they made that a rule.
I've no clue. Like I said, I need to educate myself more on the Roman Catholic religion.
In the course of the resulting trial, Thibault raised certain charges in his defense, causing the magistrates to turn Grandier over to the Excellential Court. The bishop then prohibited Grandier from performing any public functions as priest for 5 years in the Diocese of Poitiers and forever in Loudun. But Grandier appealed to the court at Poitiers. As a number of witnesses retracted their statements, the case was dismissed without prejudice should new evidence be presented. Prejudice. Prejudice, yeah. So, nothing ever happened of him being beaten with a cane. Yeah. So, the Ursuline convent had been opened in Loudun in 1626.
Okay.
In 1632, Prioress Jean de Angus. I'm so bad with this. Holy shit. Presided over 17 nuns whose average age was 25. The first report of alleged demonic possession began about 5 months after the outbreak of the plague.
Okay.
In 1632. As it was winding down. While physicians and wealthy property owners had left town, go figure, the physicians because there was nothing they could do, others attempted to isolate themselves, and the convent had shut themselves behind the walls. The nuns discontinued receiving parlor visitors. Grandier visited the sick and gave money to the poor, though. A young nun said that she had had a vision of her recent deceased confessor, Father Mausson, and soon other nuns reported similar visions. Canon Jean Mignon, the convent chaplain, who was also a nephew of Trinquant, so again, we're having all those connections, decided that the series of exorcisms was in order. In the town, the people were saying it was an impostor. The nuns then claimed the demon Asmodee was sent to commit evil and impotent acts with them. So they
Where did they get these names from?
You know, at least they had a name. Not just saying Satan himself showed up like the last one.
True, but still, like where, I don't know.
I have no idea. I'm probably horribly mispronouncing a lot of these. So people in France, I do apologize. I'm very rusty on my French, even though my son has been taking it for the last 3 years. I'm rusty.
Yeah, but you haven't been taking it, so.
No.
Do you believe in full-on possession?
No.
You don't?
No.
Okay. Why?
Demons are a lot smarter than we think, even though they're dumb as hell.
Okay. So you believe in demons.
Oh, absolutely.
But you don't believe that they can possess you.
Not fully.
Okay.
I think in this case right now, I think there was a town that was in a lot of dismay. And per the usual, as we see even in today's world, you got to put a blame somewhere.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of negative energy all at once too in that time.
Yeah. And of course, a demon sees that as an opportunity. Mm-hmm. Abso-fucking-lutely. That's what they need. That's what they want. That's what they feed on. Again, we see this today. Mm-hmm. But I do not believe that they'll just be like, you know what, I'm going to pick that person and just put myself in that body wearing it like a damn skin suit.
Yeah.
No, I don't believe that.
Okay.
They don't just pick one person and put them on. Fucking Buffalo Bill asked them that shit and all that other kind of stuff.
All right. This is really weird that I knew you were going to like probably talk about this and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's weird because I picked something kind of similar to speak about, but it's a little bit more current.
Okay. I'm loving to hear it. So during questioning about the supposed evil spirits thought to be possessing them, the nuns gave several answers as to who caused its presence. A priest, Peter, and Zabulon. Zabumafoo. Sorry, I had to. Damn leaping lemurs there. It was after almost like a week on October 11th that Grandier was named as the magician responsible, though none of them had ever met him. Next, people were asserting to be physicians and apothecaries were brought in. Canon Mignon informed the local magistrates of what was happening at the convent, and Grandier filed a petition stating that his reputation was under attack and that the nuns should be confined. The Archbishop of Bordeaux intervened and ordered the nuns sequestered, upon which the appearance of the possession seemed to subside for a time. The nuns' increasingly extreme behavior, shouting, swearing, barking, etc., drew a considerable number of spectators. Per the usual, you got some women going, bark, bark, bark. I would look too. You got a little nun over there going, fuck. Well, they probably didn't say it like that. It's probably like merde.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
That's the only French swear word I know. They're going to look. Mm-hmm. Eventually, Cardinal Richelieu decided to intervene, and Grandier had already offended Richelieu by his public opposition to the demolition of the town walls, and his reputation for illicit relations with parishioners did not approve his standings with the cardinal. This bro got just bad name. Mm-hmm. He gave himself a bad name because dude can't keep his willy in his damn pants.
Yeah.
That's really what his problem was. And this is the 1600s. Keep it modest, bro.
Completely different time back then, though, too, as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, now today, if a guy was doing this, everybody would be high-fiving him, calling him a total man god.
Well, no, back in the day, it was acceptable, too, though, as well.
Clearly not, because they hate him right now for his dick always being out.
France, though, too, as well.
I don't know, man. He's pissing everybody off with his dick. In addition, Grandier had written a book attacking the discipline of clerical celibacy, as well as a scathing satire of the cardinal. So, no. He's like, why are you all not having sex? We should all be having sex.
One ginormous orgy.
One ginormous orgy. Leave the walls up, though, because it's a kink.
Yeah. Gotta have some kind of privacy.
All right. So an investigation around the time of the nuns' accusations, Jean de Laubardemont was sent to demolish the town tower. So we're just tearing shit down. People are having sex. People have plagues. It's just a whole fucked up situation, man.
Yeah, it sounds about right about that time.
And it sounds like it's basic Tuesday afternoon here too. He was prevented from doing so by the town militia, and upon returning to Paris, reported on the state of affairs in Loudun, including the recent disturbances at the Ursuline convent. And in November 1633, de Laubardemont was commissioned to investigate the matter, and Grandier was arrested as a precaution against his fleeing the area. And the commissioner then began to take statements from witnesses who said Grandier often mysteriously appeared at the convent at all hours, although no one knew how he was able to get inside. Yeah.
Odd.
So there was a trial.
Okay.
And Monsieur de Laubardemont returned to Loudun with a decree of the council dated 31 May 1634, confirming all his powers and prohibiting Parliament and all other judges from interfering in the matter, and forbidding all parties concerned from appealing under penalty of a fine of 500 livres. Grandier, who had been held at the prison of Angers, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong too, but it looks like it says Angers, was returned to Loudun, and Laubardemont once again observed and interrogated the nuns, now dispersing among a number of convents. And the Bishop of Poitiers, after having sent several doctors of theology to examine the victims, came to Loudun in person, and over the next 2.5 months he performed exorcisms, as did Father Tranquille OFM Cap. I don't know what that exact last part is, but I looked at Father Tranquille, and I was like, that looks like a damn medication. Like, this is a fake name. And on June 23rd, 1634, the Bishop of Poitiers and M. de Laubardemont, I have to say these so slowly, I sound like a moron. Being present, Grandier was brought from his prison to the Church of Saint Croix in his parish to be present at the exorcisms. All the possessed were there likewise, as the accused and his partisans declared that the possessions were mere impostors. He was ordered to be himself the exorcist, and the stole was presented to him. He could not refuse, and therefore take the stole and the ritual, and he received the pastoral benediction, and after the Veni Creator had been sung, commenced the exorcisms in the usual form. So in August of 1634, the case was heard before the local magistrates. It was alleged that Grandier had made a pact with the devil and had invited someone to a witch's sabbat.
Well, that escalated really quickly.
Very quickly. And he was found guilty of sorcery and placing evil spells to cause the possessions of the Ursuline nuns, and he was condemned to be burnt at the stake. Now,
I wonder how, I'm just curious as to what they considered were his, spells and whatnot.
Well, I don't know. Honestly, I think he just pissed some fucking people off. And
yeah, that's what it sounds like.
And literally, they're like, well,
it's all your
witchcraft.
Fault. Yep.
Because you got a city that's plagued, they're angry, they're depressed, they're sad,
there's a lot of bad energy.
There's a lot of bad energy going on. But after he was, burned at the stake.
Okay. After he roasted.
Yep. The possessions failed to stop. As a result, public exorcisms continued. Supposedly. That is.
I need to study up more on exorcisms and when it began, what it looked like, that kind of stuff, because I truly want to know.
From the way that these ones sounded like, it sounds like they sang a bunch of songs.
What?
That's the way, when I was reading this, that's literally what it sounded like. They sang some songs. Some Christian songs.
I don't know. Like, is it because we know what Hollywood has like shown us and whatnot,
Right?
Like, but what did it actually look like back in the day? There's got to be some kind of record of that.
I'm sure there is, but apparently these possessions and exorcisms continue for 3 years after Grandier's death. The last departing demon left clear signs of their exit from Jeanne d'Angers, the mother superior of the community, when the names Joseph and Mary miraculously appeared inscribed on d'Angers' left arm. So, yeah, that was... Now, I don't know how that inspired anything for The Exorcist whatsoever, other than the sex stuff. Because in The Exorcist, she had a little moment with some holy items. But that had nothing to do with the exorcism. But it was interesting when I saw that. I'm like, exorcisms in the 1600s, what?
Well, I think they go back farther than that because there's records of like...
Oh, yeah.
Stigmata that they...
Oh, absolutely.
Back further than that.
But the fact that this was like some dude who got burned at the stake for witchcraft and exorcisms, and I was like, I have to read this. I have to know this. And I want to share this with you guys. So... everybody stop being so cranky and angry. Let's get rid of the negative juju. Keep up the sex if you want. It's okay now. That's allowed. If you like to do it in public, that's your business. But make sure there's no inappropriate eyes should not see it, because apparently that's also a problem with the walls, up or down. Put a blanket over yourself or something. I don't know, man.
People just can't go fuck in the public anymore, Missy.
Oh, damn.
They're gonna get arrested.
That's true. Don't do it. They
Don't
might
do
burn.
that.
They might burn you at the stake. Go in the bathroom. See, walls. Got to keep them up.
Yeah, you gotta keep up the walls.
Okay, so have sex. Keep the walls up, though. Stop being cranky and angry and negative all the time, because then otherwise people are going to start burning at the stake.
Pretty much. Somebody's gonna roast for it.
Somebody always roasts for it.
Yep. They always find something. Always. Or somebody to blame it on.
But if you got a healthy sex life, go for it, man.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop you. Put a tent up. That's a wall.
I think it's still considered public, though.
Oh, that's stupid.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah, you can't have sex in your car.
Yeah, so...
Okay, find a bathroom.
I'm pretty sure that still counts, too, if they get caught. But
if it's locked and you're the only people in there, it's fine.
I think you're encouraging bad behaviors.
You know what? I'd rather people go lock themselves in the bathroom and have sex than do half the other shit they're doing out there today. So
very true. That's very true.
You're spreading mutual love if you're just having sex.
Well,
consensual sex in the bathroom.
Yes.
I just really wanted to be very clear on that. Consensual. Please make it fucking consensual, because that one is definitely the only acceptable kind. Just behave yourself, people. Okay? Be nice.
We've got her all flustered over here.
Just a smidge.
Okay.
Yeah, that was I don't know.
Right.
I had to share that. That was a little fun thing. I did not get anything from The Exorcist of that, but it's fun.
So you think all the possession cases that we've talked about? Well, I know you think they're all just kind of like BS. Mm-hmm. That none of those were true possessions.
No.
Now, the one I have to talk about today is a very famous, quote unquote, maybe possession or haunting. I don't know if it's a full-on possession. I want to know your opinion on it first before we talk about it.
Okay, throw it at me.
You're familiar with the Perrin family, that they encouraged the making of The Conjuring.
Oh, yes.
Okay?
Yes. Okay.
And at the end, they show the mother being possessed and do an exorcism, the Warrens do. That's not what happened in real life. It was something different. It was a seance.
Okay.
But they believed that she was haunted by this spirit.
Now, being possessed and being haunted are two different things.
Okay.
Two totally different things.
But do you believe being haunted can still, I guess, transform that personality to make it seem like they're possessed?
Yes.
Okay. And why?
Imagining having somebody in your ear constantly telling you something, and you build a new conscious that you think is there that's not.
Okay. All right.
That's what yes.
All right. Now, do you actually believe, I don't know how much you know about the Parent family, do you believe they were actually haunted?
I would have to re-educate myself on that, on them to give you that true opinion. I do believe people can be haunted, like the Lutz. George Lutz. That house was not haunted. George Lutz was haunted.
Yes.
And I believe that he acted out from his hauntings that he did not realize he was in, because he fucked around and he found out.
But which is also another person the Warrens involved with.
Yeah, I have a problem with the Warrens.
Okay, and this is where I'm getting to. I'll talk about, the parents. I was for the Warrens, but I went down a rabbit hole after this. And I found out a lot of stuff about the Warrens that I was like, oof, never heard any of this before. I should have educated myself first. And it really does sound like, that I wouldn't say maybe, well, they did. They took advantage of a lot of people, but granted, they didn't charge them or anything, but they still used them as puppets in their own ploy. And one of what made me give me that aha moment, I never knew that Ed Warren had an affair on Lorraine Warren. And you're talking about this is supposed to be a very intuitive woman. She's a medium, correct?
So she says.
So she says. So she would be very intuitive. And what brought me down this rabbit hole is when she's interviewing, was it the mother's mother? It's Carolyn, I think, or something along those lines. She interviewed her first before actually doing a reading of the home. And I was like, well, that's ass backwards. So of course she's going to go into these homes or into these rooms and say what's not good and what's shouldn't be touched and this and that, because she already knows the story.
Yeah, she was fed the information of what to say.
So then I started
kind of
searching.
Like the interrogations. You got people they're trying to convince to admit to something. You give them a little bit of...
Correct.
Yeah.
So then I started researching and whatnot, and that's when I found out that Ed had an affair with some 15-year-old.
Perv.
Yep. Did not know that at all. And then after that, I was just like...
That's not allowed.
But if she's this intuitive being, how would she not know?
She's big.
Yeah. She has to be. And then, I would start looking at all of their cases and whatnot. But this one stood out a little bit more to me because during lockdown, tail end of lockdown, the family that did own the Conjuring house, they now have sold it. They partnered with Dark Zone Net or something like that and did a live streaming. And I watched a lot of it.
Yeah.
And none of it was like a ploy or anything. It was 24/7. Watch what you want when you want. And I saw a couple of stuff like I couldn't explain. I was like, that's interesting. Granted, somebody could come up with something and say, oh, it was this, it was that. But it doesn't make sense if nobody's there, nothing's in the room, that kind of stuff. Anyways, went down this rabbit hole. Started looking at The Conjuring. And I don't know if you remember or not, they said that the being that was haunting the mother was it Bathsheba Sherman? I think I said that right. And that she was a witch back in the day.
Okay.
All right. But
Bathsheba was a witch back in the day?
Correct.
Okay.
And that she had murdered children to sacrifice to Satan.
That seems very fucking cliche already.
Yes. I'm going to read this article first.
Okay.
It's a little bit long, but I'm going to read this article first.
Okay.
And then I will go through and explain some things.
Okay.
Okay? So, all right. So, Bathsheba Sherman, supposedly the fearsome demon that terrorized the Perron family in The Conjuring, was not entirely a fictional creation. Not entirely.
Okay.
So, some believe she was a witch who worshipped Satan and was related to Mary Esty, a woman who was hanged in Salem witch trials. Which I did research her a little bit, and that was true.
Okay.
But I couldn't find any relation to Bathsheba. That is just hearsay. But Others believe Sherman murdered children in the 19th century Connecticut. As for the actual historical records, they confirm that Bathsheba Thayer was born in 1812 and would later marry a farmer named Judson Sherman in Connecticut before birthing a boy named Herbert. The legends, meanwhile, claim that she was later caught sacrificing her son to Satan with a sewing needle. Cursing all who would dare to live on her land, she supposedly climbed a tree and hung herself. Now, according to paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, Bathsheba Sherman promised to haunt anyone who would go on to occupy that land where her home once sat. The couple, who contacted by the parent family, who had moved onto the property in 1971, started claiming household items had begun to vanish and the children were supposedly being visited nightly by a malevolent female spirit. Their eldest daughter, Andrea Perrin, has since chronicled her traumatizing childhood in the House of the Darkness, the House of Light. While skeptics say that the Warrens are mere profiteers of the unexplained, Perrin has yet to waver from her story. And I remember this to be true because they brought her on during the live.
Mm-hmm.
And she spoke very highly of them.
Of the Warrens?
Yes.
But
But I have a theory behind that.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe the only reason why she did speak so highly of them because she has her own chronicles that she wrote. So what better way to publicize your own book than to publicize them too as well?
Absolutely, because everybody's gonna...
So I don't trust her word.
No.
But to separate fact from fiction, when it comes to the true story of The Conjuring, one must return to the life of the real Bathsheba Sherman. So, going back and looking a little bit at her life, by all accounts, Bathsheba Thayer had a relatively contented childhood. She would grow into an envied beauty and tie the knot at 32 years old in 1844, which I thought was really old for her. I'm not like judging her age, but like at that time, that seemed really old to get married.
Oh, yeah.
But her husband ran a profitable produce business from his 200-acre farm in Harrisville, Rhode Island. But the community would soon see the newlywed wife as a threat.
Because she was pretty.
Well, this is what they're saying. But
this is what the Warrens say?
This is documented outside of the Warrens.
Okay. That's what okay.
Some of it, I don't know if it's actually factual. It would be hard to find records on that.
Yeah.
But she had been babysitting her neighbor's son when the young boy mysteriously died. Local doctors established that the child's skull had been impaled with a small, fatal tool.
The fuck?
Yeah.
That's not a sudden death, then. That's... Carry on.
Despite the fact that Sherman was the last to tend to the boy, the case never went to court and local women were enraged.
Understandably so.
Now, according to legend, Bathsheba Sherman's son would never celebrate his first birthday as his mother stabbed him to death a week after he was born. Her confounded husband is said to have caught her in the act and witnessed her vowing allegiance to the devil before climbing the tree she would hang from in 1849.
So she killed herself in both stories.
We'll get there. Hold on. It gets really confusing. While some claim they had 3 other children, there are no census records of this to exist. So, just so everybody knows, the only way if that would be possible is if they died at a really, really young age. And back in the day, remember, we don't really have hospital records and stuff like that back then that report like instantly. It takes a while. Mm-hmm. So they would have to died before their first birthday too as well.
Okay.
Now, some remain convinced, however, that none of these siblings lived past 7. Ultimately, Bathsheba Sherman's story begins largely unsourced, while records confirm Judson Sherman died in 1881, with Bathsheba Sherman's tombstone in downtown Harrisville revealing her date of death as May 25th, 1885. Her alleged suicide in 1849 appears utterly fabricated. Today, Andrea Perrin is unconvinced that it was Sherman who terrorized her as a child at all, but the neighboring Arnold estate matriarch who hanged herself in the barn in 1797 instead. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I thought that to be interesting because I hear her speak so highly of the Warrens and whatnot. But the Warrens were the ones that brought up Bathsheba because they went into and just looked at the history of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then made up this story how she hung herself.
Hmm.
But it makes more sense from what Andrea's saying.
Yeah.
That it was from the plantation next door.
Yeah.
Now, as far as like activity in the house, it all kind of came to a stop once they left. But eventually Roger, the husband, didn't believe in the Warrens. He called bullshit all along.
Mm-hmm.
And he kicked them out of the house and told them never to come back. Because he was worried about his wife's health when they did the seance in the basement. That was the possession that they showed in the movie. Mm-hmm. There was no possession that actually happened. It was a seance. So here's my theory on the situation.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe some people can be possessed. I don't think it's the Hollywood possession.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a lingering dark energy around you.
Yes.
But I also think when you do these seances, it opens...
You're fucking around.
Yeah.
And you're about to find out.
It
I will say that for sure.
Doors. And it makes more sense now thinking back and watching some of that live stream of the different things you would see. Because you could tell it was different energies.
Yes.
Some could be playful. Some could be intimidating. Some would be dark. It was just... you could tell there was a different energy. You can't see energy, but for some reason you can see it too at the same time. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
But I do believe the Warrens made the situation worse.
Absolutely.
And they actually brought on the Conjuring into that home.
Mm-hmm.
And made it 10 times worse for that family at that home. That family didn't end up moving out until I think like 1981 or something.
Okay.
So they lived there for a decade till they could save up again because they used all of their savings to buy that farm.
Right.
So they were just kind of stuck there till they saved up enough money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a decade, that's entire lifetime for these children.
Yeah.
And all of this stuff is still going on and still progressively getting worse. But most of all, it's happening more to the mother.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the one who the seance was involved with.
Right.
It was not the children.
Mm-hmm.
So going down that rabbit hole is, of course, where I went down and realized the Warrens and how much torture they actually brought into people's lives.
Let me ask you this. When you finally came to that realization, how mad were you?
I don't know. First of all, when I found out Ed had an affair with a 15-year-old, I was livid.
Well, yeah, naturally. But I'm just saying, when you finally realized how phony they were,
I think
I'm not mad. How disappointed were you?
I mean, I was disappointed, but I think I kind of knew it.
I did. I knew it.
Yeah, I think I kind of
never
knew
liked
it.
them.
Especially so I think you hear them reference it in the movie too as well. That Carolyn or whatever her name is, I can't remember mom's name, is being haunted by a witch that has a crooked neck from hanging herself.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all they've been told, and they kind of like try to make it fit and match up, even in some of the the research I've done on the Conjuring and whatnot. And they referred to it in the live too as well.
Mm-hmm.
Where some kids that had been in the house before drew stuff on the wall and whatnot of this lady with the crooked neck. But anytime they investigated the situation, it was clearly not a female spirit in that house.
Mm-hmm.
It was clearly a male spirit. And this, whatever spirit they kept referencing, unless I missed it between that, because what was this, like a span of a couple weeks or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I could have missed something. But
I mean, if it's a 24-hour constant, yeah, you could easily miss them.
But if they caught something big, they would re-show it.
You'd think.
But I don't know how to explain it. It was not female in that house. You could just tell. And it was angry. And it wasn't like, I guess the best way to explain it is like you would see this playful stuff happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'd see something really dark and negative happen. And it would remain quiet for a couple days until it picked back up.
What house is this again?
The Conjuring house.
Yeah, no, where was it?
Rhode Island. Huh. It recently sold again. And
were the other families experiencing things?
The families that lived there, well, they only stayed there part-time.
After any families after what the Warrens did? Kind of like, you know how Amityville, the house was fine after the Lutzes left?
I think they said they experienced, like, some stuff, but it wasn't like a possession or a haunting or anything. Just weird stuff would happen. Like, I literally watched toy cars that, you know, you watch somebody put up there and later on just fly off the seat and start moving around the room. You can't really explain that. Some people are going to say like a fishing line or whatnot, but if it was a fishing line, it would move in a certain way, and it didn't move that way. But there's also somebody who was there, John Huntington, which I know some people don't really care for him, but he was friends of the people who own the house, and he was invited to do this investigation with them. And whoever it was seemed particularly fond of him. He had the most interaction, more so than anybody else. But the family, no, they would not live there. They would just, you know, stay there every now and then. Because it was too much. And they would actually stay in a different part of the house. They would not stay in the main house. What you over there working through?
She had one, whatever.
Bathsheba
had a kid.
We know of Herbert.
We had Herbert. Bathsheba and a husband. But
this farm, though, keep in mind, was owned supposedly for the past 8 decades, I think, by the same family.
Bathsheba's family?
Whether that's true or not, but I haven't confirmed myself, but that's what I've read in articles.
But Bathsheba, her husband, and the little boy. Possibly she had 3 other children. So that would be 4 total. But the woman that haunted her was not Bathsheba, but yet the woman from the neighbor's plantation.
Did she say woman?
Yes.
No. Hold on, let me go. Did she say? No.
Someone's plantation.
Oh, hanged herself, yeah.
Yes.
So, on the Arnold estate. I guess we'd have to do more research on the Arnold estate.
Yes.
And figure out what's that story next door.
Yes.
But I don't believe...
The Warrens are shit.
Yeah.
I've always thought that they were shit.
I don't believe that it was
I just find
Bathsheba.
No. And I have a feeling Bathsheba did have other children. They weren't documented because they died in childbirth. Herbert probably died later. Not because he was murdered. It's just the times, unfortunately. Yeah. I'm very intrigued right now. I want to know.
Yeah, like I started this, and of course, you know, now we're going to just come back and do a whole full fucking episode.
Yeah, you guys are going to have to come back on this one. My brain's really ticking right now.
All right.
It's tingling. Well, this just blew my 1600s exorcism out the water. Should have just talked about this one.
Yeah.
See, and this is why you guys got to also have consensual sex. 15-year-olds are not one to have sex with grown-ass men.
Now, this could make some sense. Her name was Carolyn Perrin, the mother. She did a lot of research on her own, though, too, as well. And she contacted a local historian who told her that Bathsheba enjoyed starving and beating her farmhands.
I could see that.
But I don't think it's Bathsheba.
No, it's not.
I wish I had
it's not
some kind of, like, it's hard to put into words.
No, it's not Bathsheba. Bathsheba is not. No, it's not. And she probably was beating her hands. I think that energy that you're seeing might be her husband, though.
I don't know how he died. Wait, did I know how he died? I know she supposedly died, because there's another record that she supposedly died because she turned into stone, but which they were referring to back in the day, because remember, it's that time period, was paralysis. So where they're saying she turned to stone because she couldn't move was actually paralysis. But if she was like an actual witch or anything, something else would have been done.
No, she's not a witch. She was not.
And I don't know if she actually, because again, there's no records on it because there's no case or trial, but I honestly don't believe she just stabbed a baby in the back of the head.
No, that would not have just flied. Not just.
So I don't know how that got into. No. I don't know if it's something the Warrens created to make the story sound better, to make it sell better.
Absolutely, but it doesn't make sense.
Because they're also the ones that said the walls were oozing.
Yeah, they said that about the fucking whatever at the Amityville. So they repeat stories. They're trash. Let's pin this. Let's come back.
Exactly. See?
You got my...
We got to do some research and come back to you, Toasties, on this one.
Yeah. I can't even speak. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you on this one. I like this one.
If you get the chance, go on YouTube.
Yeah.
And look for what I think it's called Dark Zone.
Okay.
Or Darknet or something like that. It was who hosted it. But footage from the Conjuring that night for those during lockdown.
I will.
And you'll see what I'm saying. I promise.
All right. We're about to get even more spooky into this spooky month, guys. Mm-hmm. This one wasn't as funny, but this one really has my... Thank you.
I got to debunk the Warrens now.
Thank you.
That's like... I had to. Like, it's got to happen. We got to do this.
Come back, Toasties. Let us know some of your thoughts on this situation. I need to hear some things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So find us on all the social medias of all the sorts. Like, follow, share, hit that bell. Come back and listen to us. Get your inputs on this. We'll love to talk about those in this next episode because I wish I could explain to you guys what I'm feeling right now. That's all I can say. That's literally how I can leave it right now. Yeah. Thank you.
We gotta go do some research.
I gotta. Yeah. I'm literally speechless at the moment. Until next time, guys.
Yeah, right.
Thanks. I'm gonna leave this on a total cliffhanger. Come back next week. We're gonna finish this one.
Yeah.
Until next time, guys. Thank you.
All right.
Bye. Bye.